us and maybe one more if we want to kind of fill this spot. Need to get together, and I think we're pretty close to a final version for the
Let's
board.
do. Okay. Yes, let's get that done. Do we have any public comments?
Yes.
Oh, we do. Okay, yes. Come right up, state your name.
Thank you. My name is Scott Taylor, and I live in
In that, now the three of us and maybe one more if we want to kind of fill this spot. Need to get together, and I think we're pretty close to a final version for the
Let's
board.
do. Okay. Yes, let's get that done. Do we have any public comments?
Yes.
Oh, we do. Okay, yes. Come right up, state your name.
Thank you. My name is Scott Taylor, and I live in Miamisburg, Ohio. And actually appreciate the opportunity to come here and speak to you all. And I know that I've worked with Jeff on different things, but I want to let you know that just coming here gives me a better understanding of the challenges the Board of Elections deals with. And I really appreciate the opportunity to hear those things. But the reason why I'm coming today is that I'm a member of the Ohio Election Integrity Network Digital Research Team in Montgomery County. And over the past month, our team has leveraged software that correlates NCOA data with registration voter records from multiple states. The software generates a list of individuals who are registered to vote in the state of Ohio, have moved to another state, have voted in that state on a date later than their last time they voted in the state of Ohio, and none of these individuals are covered by the NCOA purge process that was discussed earlier today. Now, Section 3503.02 states that if a person goes into another state and while there exercises the right of a citizen of voting, the person shall be considered to have lost the person's residence in this state. And then on May 26, 2024, I wrote Jeff and asked him how he'd like us to present these 257 challenges. The software even actually has a tab name called 257. Would you like me just to give you the spreadsheet? How would you like me to present those? And he said, I'd like you to follow the proper forms, which means the official 257 challenge. So basically, if you look at 3503.24, it provides guidelines on how this board is supposed to handle those kind of challenges. And it says that upon receiving the application of challenge filed under this section, the Board of Elections promptly shall review the board's records. If the board is able to determine that an application or challenge to be granted or denied solely on the basis of the records maintained by the board immediately shall vote to grant or deny that application or challenge. If the board is not able to determine whether the application or challenge should be granted or denied solely on the basis of the records maintained by the board, the director shall promptly set a time and date for a hearing before the board. The hearing shall be held, and the application and challenge shall be decided no later than 10 days after the board receives the application or challenge. Now, to date, 57 Form 257 challenges have been delivered. And these take some time to work because you have to actually fill out the form, you have to do the digital research, you have to do screenshots of the material. And our objective is to make it really easy for the board. Because we've done the research, we're actually supplementing the work of this board because the person, particularly current NCOA, is a good process, but number one, it's going back 4 years. And number two, it does not check individuals that have actually voted in other states. And as a result, the rules of Section 3503.02 are not enforced by it. So we're trying to assist the board in that effort. But anyways, today 57 Form 257 challenges have been delivered to the Montgomery County Board of Elections. 9 were delivered on June 18th, 20 on June 21st, 28 on June 28th, with many more ready to be submitted. I think there's going to be maybe another, I'm not certain, maybe another 40 or 50 delivered this week. So basically, now, if you're actually following the process laid out in 3503.24, the Form 257 challenges delivered to the Board of Elections on June 18th would have been completed by June 27th based on the statute. The ones delivered on June 21st completed on July 1st, and the ones delivered on June 28th on July 7th. And I do appreciate how busy the Board of Elections is.
Thank you.
And I also understand that these are challenges, but in these times of political unrest, we really need to have confidence in our election rules. That's where a lot of us are coming from. I got more interested in some of the things I observed over the last 4 years, and that's why I'm actually standing before you today. But anyways, Ohio other Ohio counties receiving the same 257 challenges for loss of residency and are following the guidelines of 3503.24 include Butler County. Hearing was held on Friday, July 5th, 2024. They removed 25 challenge registrations. Muckingum County, hearing was held on Wednesday, July 3rd, and they actually said we need a 2-day extension granted in writing. And they removed 15 challenge registrations. And Perry County held their hearing 10 days after receiving the 257 challenges that they received on June 6, 2024, and they removed all 21 challenge registrations. So in closing, my question to this board is, when can we expect the 57 challenges that have been delivered to the Montgomery County Board of Elections to be resolved? I know Jeff made reference to this particular process, but the issue with it is that these aren't part of that process. And I know that when you delay and delay and delay things, we are maybe want to have confidence that this actually will get resolved, because we know that if you say you're going to do it in August and we're in the middle of election season, maybe, we're just worried it might not get done. So we asked, when will it be done?
Okay.
And the other one is how will the board notify each of the individuals submitting these Form 257s, and what process will the board follow? And I'll also give you a copy of this for review, but that's pretty much why I'm coming here. I have a lot of faith in this board, honestly. I have served as a PLS. I have defended this board when people made allegations with no evidence. I feel strongly about this, but I also feel that we really need to follow these rules. But that's why I came, and that's my message. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here.
And I'll drop you these off, and I also have what Perry County did, so.
Okay.
Where do you want to start?
I'm going to let the director respond, because
Okay.
this is where.
I can give this to you.
Thank you, thank you.
I can, there's two.
I'll pass it on. Here we go.
Oh, thank you.
I need a copy, Scott.
Okay, can I get one? Sure. Thank you.
Director, would you like to respond to?
Yes, I find it absolutely disingenuous of Scott to come before the board and throw these questions out there. He knows these answers. I not only spent we sent several emails, but probably spent over an hour on the phone explaining my rationale and the process in this particular thing by giving us 60 some odd things. It does take more than a couple days. If you follow the actual law, we would have less than 2 days to 2.5 days to review and go through that process, because you have to, also by law, you have to give 6 days notice, prior notice of the hearing. Trying to schedule everything becomes a little bit more difficult, especially, again, some of this would have been over the holiday. The July 7th was actually a Sunday, so it would be actually inappropriate to do that on that particular day. But Scott already knows that, and this is why I find it disingenuous for him to come here and kind of almost say to you guys, he wants to know the question of when it's going to happen. I've been quite clear to him and Mr. Greenfield, who I had a conversation with yesterday, a fairly long conversation as well, similar conversation that I had with Scott, that because all but 2 of the individuals that they provided are in the are in confirmation status. And so as I explained to them, because of the cost and the timing and the process, that I was going to move, just go beyond the 10 days, allow in mid-July, as you heard from the presentation today, see how many of those individuals are eliminated automatically from our system. Then I can set the hearing to notify you guys, because they provided, we have to certify mail to them, to the complainant, as well as to the 2 addresses, the local address and they're all coming out of Florida address. I believe they're all out of Florida. There may be a couple out of North Carolina. And so I explained that we would be doing that process. Anybody that is not removed from the current purge process, we will be having a hearing for, and I've committed that. I think that's what's required under the law and the spirit of the law. Additionally, with regards to those the data that they have provided, the data that they provided only goes through November of 2022. So there are approximately 1.5 years that those individuals who they've challenged may have come back into Montgomery County. I'm not aware of that. Again, we've got to do the research. That's what the hearing would be for, to allow those individuals to come back and say, no, I temporarily moved down there and registered down there, now I'm back. Notifying you of that at this point. They may do that through the NCOA process and the purge process. That's what we're going to do. But we are scheduled, we have not scheduled a date. I was waiting to see how many, had to do approximately 60 and go through the process properly, because we have to have a court reporter. You individually hear each of those petitions or those 257 complaint forms. I thought this was the best use of our time, best use of resources that we have, and to follow the spirit to remove. Clearly, we would be doing this if we were not in the middle of the NCOA process. As I told Scott and Mr. Greenfield, we would have already done it. But I wanted the time that maybe we could save some time, effort, and money, the taxpayers' money, and having some of them, most of them, hopefully are removed. So that's the process.
Ginger? Okay, thank you. Guys, thank you for doing this. We take voter integrity extremely strong here. And to kind of answer your question, we've had several of these cases in the past that we've done. Right? In all honesty, you've hit us at a pretty peak time here. We got a lot of resources and stuff that we need to allocate in other places. And I get what you're saying, and I respect what you're saying. I also understand that, yeah, you know what, we may not be falling within the parameters of what's required of us, but be patient, we'll take care of it. I know for a fact that the 4 people in front of you take these things very seriously. We also take voter integrity and the right to vote as a sacred right. And we want to make sure that when these people are taken off the list, it's absolutely rock solid. Because we, all 4 of us here, do not like taking our voters' rights away. And that's what we're saying here. And so we want to make sure that legally that we really do have the right to take them off our voter list. So we're trying to protect both sides of the fence. As we heard from Jason's presentation, it's a big ball to keep all these things balanced here. And so I'm sorry it's taking us a lot of extra time, but be patient with us because I know Eric and I are very solid about this. And I know these 2 other board members are very solid about this also. If there's a problem, we'll take care of it. We've done it in the past. We will do it in the future in order to maintain the integrity of Montgomery County. And so I appreciate the work and effort you guys have gone through to bring these to our attention. Please, you're welcome to bring more of them to us in the future. Give us a chance to let the system purge itself. And that would certainly reduce our workload a lot right now. So with that, I'm going to yield, Madam Chair.
Member Gorman?
Yeah, thank you for bringing this to our attention, Mr. Taylor, but if I understand you, Mr. Rezibek, the majority of these will be taken care of in the process that Jason described for us, and so it seems like it does make sense to follow what you're saying, wait till mid-July when the vast majority of them can be purged, and then those couple that aren't, then we can take the time and the effort to really delve into those. So I appreciate your work on this.
That's what we believe. I mean,
Yeah.
as I said, all of them could be purged, none of them. If none of them, then we will have the hearing on every one of them that is not.
I appreciate the effort to use the system we have in place first to get rid of the ones that would normally have been purged and then concentrate on the couple that may not. So thank you.
Thank you.
Just one last, I appreciate your thoughts. One last comment is, I'm supposed to get that. Sorry.
This discussion is over. Okay, did you want to speak?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Yeah.
Yes. Make sure you state your name.
Thank you. I'm new to this, but I think I should speak on this. My name is James Greenfield, and I too live in Miamisburg, Ohio. I've been a resident, born and raised in Montgomery County. And before I begin about my section, I want to read something. Like we said, the Pledge of Allegiance, I think something like this should be also remembered, our constitutional First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of a religion or prohibiting for the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So I'm standing on the First Amendment. First of all, Mr. Stevens and Mr. McClure, my heart goes out to you because it's an impact when you meet somebody in your employee who has lost someone. It's very difficult to just not have that emotion about how you feel and condolences. So my condolences to the lost. First of all, I thank you for allowing me to read the First Amendment. I've been voting since 1980. I was an absentee voting in 1980 in North Carolina. I was a Marine, so that was my last 2 years I started voting. God's blessed me with our American rights. I raised 3 wonderful children. I worked in our community, and now, thank God, I have an opportunity to retire. Now, all I did was vote, make a choice. But then what happened? 2020 election came up, and it kind of made my concerns about voting. So I got involved. I got involved in trying to become a precinct captain. So I was sworn in October 2021. And this will be my second term starting in 2025. Yes. So with that, I kind of stood up and said, well, what is a precinct captain? You know? So still learning. So I'm still learning. So I go to a group called the Ohio Patriot Alliance down here at the Claypool building. Every Saturday there's a meeting. We discuss. When people come in and are running for office, they will state why they're running for office, other communications. Okay, so one day on that one of those meetings, the Ohio Election Integrity Network came and they was asking for a volunteer, so I assumed to a volunteer. Okay, so with that research and with me doing my training and stuff, I submitted 9 257s, June the 18th. And I received receipts, which is all fair and well. 10 days go by. Let me repeat, 10 calendar days go by. There was a holiday in between there, and it was a weekend. And then on the 28th, I went down to the Board of Elections, and I spoke to David Landon, and I submitted 28 more 257s. Okay, I mentioned about the 10-day, repeat, calendar day. He says, well, it's really 10 working days. So that would bring me to July the 3rd to hear what my answers would be. What was surprisingly gave me confidence with Mr. Landon was that he asked for my contact number, my phone number, my cell number, and he'd get back with me. I never received that call. So on the 3rd of July, I called down there and I asked for Mr. Landon. Well, he's not working today. Then Mr. Rezibek called me later on, and I was at a luncheon party with my family, and it was the 4th of July weekend. So I never got the chance to talk to him on the 3rd of July. Appreciate that return call. Well, we had the holidays, and then it was just yesterday I talked to Mr. Rezibek, and we had pretty much a 20-minute conversation, and he explained to me his side of the story, okay? So I don't have to repeat about the Ohio Revised Codes, which you already know, 0.24 or 0.24 and 0.2. And I came here, and I'm hearing your comments. I understand that. Your goal is election integrity. I've heard that already, and I appreciate it. And if I didn't come to into this meeting here, I would not know. Which, another thing, I would not know if you're aware of what we are doing, okay? And I would not know what your answers are. And like I had spoken to Mr. Rezibek yesterday, I said there are more other people who are going to submit these 257s. What you do with them is because it's your responsibility. As for me, I'm an American citizen, okay? I believe in the Constitution. I believe that we are the people that govern ourselves, okay? So that's what I'm here for, election integrity, protecting our voters' rights, and yes, service to our country. So I'm here to let you know how I feel and submitting and getting the results. So I'm looking for the results. When you give them to me, I appreciate it. But as time goes by, when we get into the August period, and then you got the elections, and then you got all this work you're doing here, there's no gap. Because you'll be busy with that. We may not get an answer until probably 2025. And from my experience, I asked for cast vote records in somewhere about August of 2021. That was 2 years before the 2020 elections was purged, which was you hold those records for 2 years and you're allowed to destroy them. I didn't get the cast votes records until March of 2022. So I'm just saying, from my experience in here, I do not know when I'll get an answer, but I'm here for the same reason you all are here, election integrity. Thank you for your time. I hope I did it well, because I'm just,
Thank you.
I have nothing to work with other than my head. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you both for taking time today. Let's get this done promptly, efficiently, and accurately. That way, we maintain the integrity, maintain the responsibility of the board, and we'll get answers. All right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Corbett, did you want to say anything today?
Christine Corbett, League of Women Voters, the Greater Dayton area. My condolences to all of you. And I wanted to thank you all as well for a great presentation, very enlightening, very helpful, and appreciate your letting the public know about your processes. So thank you so much.
Thank you. The next meeting is August 13th.